In a world full of Dungeons & Dragons content, Jamazing presents a new way of playing the classic tabletop game. Welcome to DM Roulette, a game where the players rotate who the Dungeon Master will be each month. No need to sift through countless episodes to figure out what's going on here. Each adventure will begin and end in 3 parts. And don't you worry, the beloved cast of characters will stay consistent from adventure to adventure, unless they die. So, without further ado, let's start the next episode of DM Roulette.
Hello, everyone. I am taking over as DM for this session. So there are 2 important things to know before we begin. The first is that I have had several weeks to prepare for this session, which is at least 1 week longer than all the other DMs have. And as you will no doubt expect, this has not been reflected whatsoever in what you're about to experience. So bear with me in that. It has been a long time. I'm old, so I'm used to the pen and paper system. I'm used to having like my printed little like script out. So freestyling is not my best suit, so we'll see how this goes. The second and even more important thing to remember is that you're going to visit a magical land. This land is under a very powerful and unbreakable enchantment where everyone you encounter sounds suspiciously similar.
Okay.
In fact, some may have accents at one time that will sound entirely different even moments later. No one knows the source of this magical interference, but it cannot be broken. And if you have any confusion over who you're talking to at any given time, feel free to ask, and I will let you know. I don't have the vocal talents or voice mod tech that some of the other DMs have, to their credit. So we're just going to do the best that we can. So without further ado, we shall launch in. I guess the other little housekeeping detail I'll toss out is I believe all the players' characters would have leveled to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they've done that. Otherwise, they would be...
Some of us have done it recently.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who did it recently?
For everyone that we're playing for this game, I've created in Discord a new little section. That's Tim's title of the thing. It's called Part 1. So this is the channel that we were playing in. You'll see I've just said here. So this is where we'll be sending our gifts and our rolls and everything is this channel. Yep.
to part 1?
In part 1, yeah. So I'll create a new part for every episode. So we'll have like a fresh like scroll of Discord channel for each game.
Okay, so if you make rolls, it'll be happening in there.
Everything's in here, yeah. So this is the new general channel for this. Yeah.
Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So if that's it for housekeeping details from anyone, then we can plunge into the discussion. He said, not quite ready himself. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm so used to having everything super magnified for my blind eyes, and now I have to shrink it down because I'm juggling windows. So all of you characters are seated in the front pew of a small village temple. Judging from the size, smell, and filth, it must also double as a livestock auction yard just as often as a religious building, if not more so. The place is full, which doesn't say much because it's quite small. Though you recognize no one other than your fellow adventurers, the garb of the rest of those attending betrays them as simple farm folk, though these farm folk are dressed as much as possible to befit a somber religious occasion.
Oh.
The room buzzes with hushed conversation until a sallow-faced man with a self-important expression, it's not Frankie, takes the podium, smooths his rumpled vestments, and loudly clears his throat. The temple obediently falls silent. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in the ineffable and splendid light of all the gods to bid a sorrowful, heartfelt farewell to our dear friend and colleague, Rank Oliver. It is always difficult to say goodbye to a loved one, no matter how pungent. And make no mistake, Sir Stink, as he was so fondly known, was indeed the smelliest and most flatulent. A small, nervous-looking man jumps up suddenly and tugs at the speaker's sleeve. They have a brief but intense exchange before the small man returns to his seat. The cleric sighs. I have been informed by my deacon that there's been an error.
Oh.
Rank Oliver is not dead! A farmer at the back of the temple lets out a loud cry of relief. Apparently, another Oliver was visiting the village when he met his untimely demise. Unfortunately, as I do not know this particular Oliver, there is not much that I can say on the occasion of his passing, except that we are all loved equally by the gods, no matter how we are born or how we die, even if it was during an ill-conceived and undoubtedly drunken sexual misadventure with a pair of feral wolverines. But let us take comfort in the fact that before Oliver succumbed to the brutal mauling, he managed to bravely free himself from the claws rending his vulnerable naked flesh and fling himself out the window, where he was mercifully impaled by the spiked iron fence around the inn, a smile forever frozen on his face. Perhaps some of his companions would like to share their thoughts on his sudden, tragic passing. He looks suggestively or meaningfully in the direction of you, and all heads of the villagers in the temple likewise turn and stare. An awkward silence ensues.
So Ironjaw will stand up and clear his throat. I regret not being present for Elias's death, as I was undergoing my standard recharging rituals. I have never before observed a wizard ambushed by a zombie ankylosaur, and that seems like an event that doesn't occur very often. So I miss having the chance to see such a novel thing. From what I understand of organic beings, Elias will now decompose and eventually become new organic beings, and so everything will continue on as before. Farewell, Elias. I can only hope that your soul was not captured by the cursed energy permeating that jungle, as that would be a very ironic end. Goodbye.
I'm pretty sure it's not his funeral.
What? Oh, that's very
The
touching,
cleric,
Ironjaw.
however, does not even register that a different name was said, but just nods very stoically.
Oh no, Ironjaw, that's not this guy. That was the other guy.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I just woke up.
That's true. He just woke up from a very long nap. I apologize, everyone.
Would anyone else like to speak to Oliver or
This is
Elias,
actually
or-
Jen
Oh.
out of character because I am actually confused. So Oliver
Yes,
is dead.
likewise.
Oh, okay.
Well, Elias is also dead, in fairness.
Yeah, sorry. I thought we were at Elias's funeral. Okay.
No, we're at all of my funerals apparently.
We're at your current character's funeral?
That is correct.
Oh.
Okay,
And
sorry. That took me a while to catch on to. I'm caught up now.
Fair enough.
It seems like only yesterday that I met Oliver. And indeed it was. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Ironjaw will stand back up. I also regret not being present for Oliver's death. He seems like he was a wizard, I am told. I have nothing more to say.
Once it
character, I just want to say that whenever Ironjaw is not present, Frankie's characters appear to die, so there may be a connection there.
Minos, now that it's clicked in, whose funeral we're at, starts just mumbling, and big tears are kind of forming in his eyes and start staining the fur. I also only knew Oliver for a very short time, but I know in that time that we really bonded over the fact that another wizard had just died, so Maybe there is a curse on wizards. I don't know, but I hope it's not my fault because I said that he was allowed to join the group and now he's dead. So I feel like I'm possibly the murderer. And I'm so sorry, everybody, if that's the case. Okay, thank you. And he's going to sit back down and like the whole pew is going to like shake.
My character is just going to like pull out some tissues and give them to you. Like this.
So you push them with like a little rolled up paper.
Yeah.
Beatrice is going to look around and where like is Oliver actually missing?
Yes. Oliver's gone.
That would be funny if we were all giving the eulogy. He's sitting right there.
I really thought he was here.
And that was my first question.
That's a fair question. Yes, as Oliver is not there. In fact, at the front of the temple, I guess I could have added this detail. That might have been useful. It is an open. It's not an open casket funeral. It's a closed casket funeral for reasons that may have been apparent from what was said by the cleric. But there is a coffin-shaped box, a casket that's closed at the front, presumably holding the body of the recently deceased Oliver.
Beatrice is wondering if she's kind of holding her head a little bit. She's like, "Ugh, you guys are talking too loudly. We need to do this a little quieter. Clearly, I had a few too many drinks last night, and I don't know what's going on here."
And on that powerful note, I would like to
thank you for your words, Beatrice.
These strangers for opening their hearts to us and their wallets, as I assume they will be contributing to the cost of the interment of their dear friend whose name they are relatively now confident as being Oliver.
I don't think we need to incur any costs. We know a river. We can handle it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if we didn't pay for the last guy, we're not paying for this one.
We can take it from here.
But are we going to actually have to look after one another? This is going to become too expensive.
If you do say that, the cleric will definitely refuse to make eye contact with you.
Minos is... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope.
I'll continue just staring at him.
Minos is going to go up to the coffin and open it and take the body out and put it on his shoulder.
I'm not on your shoulder, by the way.
we know how to deal with wizards. That's okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And is going to start walking out.
There are aghast gasps from the collected farm folk who have never attended any sort of funeral that included confusion about who had died, both on the part of the one officiating as well as the bereaved.
Hey, we both had someone who had died.
Nor pre-grave robbing of the corpse. However, they are both scandalized and somewhat titillated because this village probably has not seen this much excitement in some time. As you head towards, I presume you were heading out with the body.
I'm heading out with the body. Is it Oliver's body? Is it his?
It is what remains of Oliver.
Oh, okay.
He has.
Am I picking up like pieces? Am I carrying like pieces of Oliver out?
They're loosely connected still.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna more like scoop it all up, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
you really have to kind of like bundle it up.
Okay.
But
like,
it's doable.
Like that little sack at the end of a stick, like I'm going on a picnic.
Yeah,
but it's got Oliver's body in it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's what I do.
Okay. So you're heading to exit the temple.
That's right. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And like as I'm doing it, I'm like nodding to everyone, like thank you.
Yeah, they're mostly just staring. I mean, they were staring at a minotaur to start with, but a corpse stealing minotaur, they are definitely staring at. If they had cameras, they would be taking pictures for sure. Unfortunately,
does your wand of flowers have charges?
It does.
Okay. Never mind. I'm not going to waste a charge.
Why? talk to me in character, Peter.
Minos, I don't mean to ask to use your stuff, but maybe a flower as we walk, we can have rose petals or something following, just to make this a bit more ceremonial.
Oh, that is a wonderful idea, Peter. And kind of like drops the bag of Oliver to the floor and pulls out the staff.
It falls with a sort of squelching noise.
A squelching noise?
Yeah, like a wet sound.
Oh.
Okay. So I feel like I don't really notice, and I'm just gonna I pull out my staff. A rose will bloom at the tip of it, and rose petals will start. I'll hold it up, and rose petals will start falling off of it as I'm dragging the sack kind of behind me now out of the temple.
It's leaving a smear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I don't notice
as you are dragging it out. An old woman succumbs to what she is seeing and faints theatrically into one of the pews, but she's probably just trying to pull photos about her.
Beatrice is gonna pull out her wand and start waving it around kind of haphazardly, and orchestral music is gonna start filling the background as the flowers erupt out of Minos's wand.
Are you sure a Benny Hill sketch theme wouldn't be more appropriate to what's happening?
Maybe something with a bit of a faster pace to it. So not something super slow and
expedite him leaving. You're like,
not quite like fiddle, like banjo, getting them out of here, y'all.
Okay.
But somewhere
not
in the
Flight
middle.
of the Bumblebee.
No,
not dueling banjos.
Wow, you guys, this is so touching.
Oh, I have one more thing to add to the ceremony. I'm going to reach into my bag and take out a stamp from my collection. And then as Minos is dragging the body, I'm going to try to be running behind and just trying to catch. I'm going to lick the stamp and stick it on the body and say, special delivery, heaven.
God.
That's beautiful,
Spectral
Peter.
Hand writes return to No, that's fine.
Do you slip on the goop that's
so basically the way I see it, the way that I see this in my head is you're just constant speed pulling the body and then running up, then leaning over to put it, but then you're still moving. So I keep missing it, trying to get behind you.
So as this, I don't even know what to call this interaction, this brouhaha is occurring. And before Minos is able to reach the temple doors with Peter at his heels, Beatrice, you're conducting from your seat, or is this becoming a procession? What
I feel like we're parading out.
Something
like
that.
Everyone is sort of
parade
filing it.
Yeah.
So before the front of the procession is able to reach the temple doors, they fly open and slam against the walls. An icy wind howls through the room, whipping up errant bits of straw and debris. The actual bindle of body parts is too heavy to be caught up.
Yay.
When the wind finally fades, a dark figure clad in layers of rich, elaborate black silk stands framed in the doorway, face shrouded by a veil.
Oh.
All eyes switch from you to this new participant in the proceedings, and the cleric exclaims in a strangled half scream, "Countess!" He almost drops to his knees in surprise and deference. She takes a moment to absorb what is occurring before.
Hey!
It is generally considered disrespectful to interrupt a funeral proceeding.
Forgive the intrusion, she purrs. Urgent business demands my attention, but I came to pay my respects and to offer the hospitality of Blackthorn Manor to those bereaved visiting our village. She whistles, and a flock of ravens flood into the temple, each bearing a sealed envelope in its beak. They whirl overhead. Oh, sorry.
It's just saying it was stylish. There's some impressive
She's
nail
got
carrying.
flair.
Carry on.
Yes, flourish like a Mexican friend.
Yeah.
They whirl overhead, eventually dropping their cargo, and each envelope lands with unerring accuracy, regardless of where the raven is, into each in front of each of you. Those who are dexterous and have their hands free could snatch the falling envelope if they choose, or it would just fall at your feet if your hands are full of body or stamps or whatever it is.
Minos is in awe of all like the ravens that are flying around.
The task complete, the ravens pour back out of the temple. The woman is fully veiled, so you can't see her face, and the only way you assume she's a woman is just from her voice. And please resume your ministrations. I look forward to easing the grief of these strangers tonight. With
look
that,
forward-
the
oh.
doors. Oh, sorry.
I wanted to just say that I look forward to that too.
Sure, go ahead. With that, the doors to the temple slam shut again, and for the first time, you realize that you are holding your breath, and you are able to breathe again. Now, I actually have the copy of what is in the envelope that I'm going to try to send you. I've never done this before. So I can just put it in like the Discord.
Put it in part 1, yeah.
In part 1? Okay. So I'm going to...
And I've got something set up for this.
Okay, so this is the contents of... Yeah, that's actually sort of where I was headed with that. I knew it was a bit obvious, but I couldn't resist. And this is a picture of the figure, roughly, that you would have seen at the doorway. That sort of idea. Just in case you weren't able to visualize from my description. That's what I was hoping you were kind of read at.
I adore this woman's style. She arrives in person, but she doesn't deliver the message in person. She has flocks of birds deliver the message. So she could have delivered it in person, but she went for the show, and I have a great deal of respect for her.
Showmanship is everything.
I mean,
Does somebody
media
want
gets the
to, so out of character, does somebody want to read this out loud in character for anybody who might just be listening?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Cass?
Except Frankie, because he's
I
dead.
feel like Cass should.
I can read it. It's kind of blurry on my screen though.
Oh, is it
if
blurry?
you click on it in Discord,
Click on
it'll
it,
zoom in.
yeah.
Oh, is
Oh,
it
in
better?
Discord.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. And how would you like me to read this?
It's in your character, like you just open the letter.
Oh, okay.
I prefer an Icelandic accent if you have one.
Oh, absolutely, I can do that.
Perfect.
Well, shit. Regretfully.
Spent a lot of time in Iceland, I see. Yes.
I do.
It's
yes,
an
true.
immigrant to Iceland. It's fine.
Fair enough.
So my character is gonna the letter will land on the bench beside them. They'll sigh and then they kind of pick it up with their fingers a little bit and unfurl it and get the spectacles ready and read it out. Darling, regretfully, I bring you tidings of your friend's death with no ordinary Wolverine fetish accident.
It is Mad Libs. It is Mad Libs. Yeah, just fill in the blanks.
Is that what it says?
Yes,
Yep.
that's what it says.
It does, yes.
That did come up during the eulogy.
Thank you. I don't know why he's so surprised. You weren't even paying attention to the eulogy, were you?
I
was
was looking
paying
through a gift.
attention.
It was murder! Make haste at once at Blackburn Manor. There is much to discuss. All of our lives depend on it, including that of your Oliver. Veronica. Veron. Varen.
Varen. Her name is now Varen.
Varen. Big V. Countess of Blackburn.
Can we not call her Big V?
I think we have to call her that
V.
now. Capital V.
Well. What are you talking about?
I'm
Well,
gonna turn to the cleric and ask him who was that countess? Is she from around here?
I have never seen her before. No. Could you imagine? Sorry, I just had to finish something. Don't feel too bad for Oliver. There's stuff going on there that I'm kind of trying to manage on the side.
Problem.
We don't feel too bad. I mean, the note even says that.
Journeying through
I'm
sticks.
glad you
He
guys
feel
don't
a
feel
little
too bad.
He was killed by 2 werewolves.
It says all of our lives
Wolverine.
depend on it, including that of your Oliver. So everything's fine.
Yeah, so
Minos
he's already put the
immediately
wand away.
stops crying.
Oh, good. I'm so happy.
Am I supposed to? Oh, Countess, am I? Oh, she's already gone. Do you know if I'm supposed to bring the sack?
We
I'm gonna
probably
bring
should,
the
just in
sack.
case.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna bring the sack.
Oh, it's too small now. Okay, sorry. Just give me 1 second. Poor Oliver here.
What are the rest of the people in the church
Yeah.
doing?
They're staring at you dumbfounded. They want to see how you react to everything that's happened. Like you, when the Countess appeared, almost unconsciously, everyone sort of holds their breath. And then when she's gone, they kind of do a... And it's like life sort of returns to the temple. The room is no longer chilly. And they kind of come to their senses. And now they're looking at you to see how you react. They're not looking at where the Countess was or anything. Sorry. So someone, I think Oliver has what Oliver needs, hopefully right now. So I believe people wanted to ask the cleric some things, or maybe.
Yeah.
I wanted to know who this countess is. Is she the ruler of these lands?
So the cleric does his best to sort of pull himself together, though he is obviously quite astounded by everything that has happened. And he says, yes, the Count and Countess are the nobles who are lieges. They are in charge of watching over the valley.
Is
Well,
she
then I
usually
suppose
so
we should
frigid?
take her up on that invitation.
The Countess is in mourning.
For Oliver?
I
Or for the other
suppose that may weigh heavily on her, as she is a most beneficent and generous ruler, but I assume the passing of her husband last month still weighs heavily on her conscience, as it does us all, of course.
What happened to that gentleman?
He died.
Yes, you are.
Bernard, is that you?
How many
You have an
funerals do you
overabundance of
guys have
information.
here every month?
Well, it is quite unusual. In fact, it was our first unexpected death in quite some time. Quite sudden. The
Do you have
Countess...
any expected deaths?
Well, to be honest, almost all of our deaths are expected. We have no shortage of those who are skilled in the healing arts present in our small community, and the valley is gentle with its inhabitants, so those who pass are those who succumb to the natural order of things, as it were, to old age.
Generally, looking around, is the group old, or is it a full bag, or like a mixed bag?
All ages. Yeah, all ages. They have young people, they have old people, they have the middle people. They're people of all age. It's not all old people, it's not all young people. There is sort of what you would expect in terms of a range.
Okay, well, I don't see any issues with going to this manor, so I think we should get there, let's just say, very quickly.
Wait, good sir. How did the Count die?
Unfortunately, we that is to say, I'm not. It would be indelicate to demand those sorts of very intimate details of the Countess.
Wolverine fetish accident?
No,
An outbreak?
your friend was our first.
V immediately goes over to other group of people just kind of sits next to them and be like, wow, so that's a lot's going on here. Like, what's going on with that count? Just like trying to stir up, rifle through people's, like through the rumor mill.
Oh, like in terms of
like with the normal people.
Does someone else know something?
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Can you roll a persuade for me? Is there? That's like a charm, right? Like persuade. That's the same kind of skill.
Persuasion. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it's persuade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
mixing my stuff.
Do I need to do that in the general then?
Nope, it's still here. It's exclamation mark check space persuasion.
Are you signaling me, Oliver? Because
What?
why are you? Oh.
What? Error in roll.
You got it. No, you got it.
Good,
It's there
good,
now.
you got a 7.
That was your previous one because you didn't roll it. I can just get rid of it, really. Let's just do
Jesus.
that.
I have +5 and I still only got 7. Yikes.
It's okay. Bring in John.
Be out of character.
Don't say I am not a generous god.
Oh gosh.
It's been a long pandemic. You shut your mouth. Sorry. So you got an 8, you said?
7.
A 7. I was even more generous. So when you sit down and you start to talk, the population starts to kind of like shuffle down the pew and give you a little bit of room, and they're kind of like nodding politely, but they're not really engaging in any sort of substantive way.
While Beatrice is doing that, can I go look at the pile of bits of Oliver that we have and do an investigation check to see if it looks like he died in a way that is somewhat approximately what was stated in the eulogy?
Absolutely. Come on, 7s.
10.
10.
This isn't probably the time, Ironjaw. Trying to like drag it still out of the temple.
Give me a
Beatrice
minute.
is trying to charm the locals, the robots, sifting through organs.
I've got like a little dagger out. I'm kind of poking at things.
No, that's completely fair. With your 10, you would learn that, and it's okay if I share this with everyone.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
mention stuff.
That he was mauled. You can't tell by what or how many, but he was. It does the pieces that are more intact do appear to have the sort of claw and teeth marks.
This is an animal attack, not some other kind of. He wasn't stabbed. He wasn't chopped with an axe.
If he was, something happened subsequent to it that would disguise that. Like perhaps it's not inconceivable he was stabbed and like his body thrown to wolves, let's say. But what you could tell is the latter half of the scenario, which is his body definitely got wolfed up or animaled up at some point. And certainly significantly enough that if he were alive, that would have killed him.
We should be wary on our way to the Countesses. There could be more wild animals.
Some pieces are missing.
Like
you would know that with a check as well. Some of the organs, like the big organs, so one of his lungs, his liver.
Humans have 2 lungs, right?
Yeah. I assume you would.
Yes, but often wild animals will eat them. I know that. I'm assuming, okay, if I make it like out of the temple at this point, is it pretty obvious which way I would need to go to get to the manor?
You would probably need direction.
All right, so I'm gonna turn
give you
around.
an address.
Yeah, so I'm gonna slam open the doors, take like 2 seconds to look around, don't spot where I need to go, turn around immediately, and say, "Okay, so who's gonna be our guide? Anyone?"
There is no immediate answer. What did everyone do with the note that they received? Like the Raven one.
In a pouch that I'm wearing.
Pocketed it,
put
yeah.
in my satchel.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 in the satchel, the others?
I pocketed it as well.
You never touched it, it's on the ground?
Well, I read it and then
You
put
read
it
it.
on the ground.
Oh. Let's place it back down.
Another invitation to a noble. Put it with the others. So B and Minos, can you tell me?
In my I pocketed it. Yeah, it's in my tunic, I guess.
Okay.
Beatrice would definitely have pockets, but I feel she may just kind of slide it into her chest.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
So cougar for no reason. It's a funeral, Beatrice. Put those away.
So Beatrice, you feel a chill
You die.
over your
You lose your heart.
You slut.
over. I'm not sure exactly where in this region you put the note, but over that region, and the chill gets more and more intense and uncomfortable.
She's not that
It's
saggy.
starting to
It's
become-
up here, okay? It's not down here.
Fair enough. It's becoming painful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she kind of like takes it out and looks at it.
So when you look at it, the letters on the note are rearranging themselves even as you're looking, and into the following message that I'm going to try to send you as I'm slowly learning this.
Cool. Is it obvious that that's happening? Like, are the people around me trying to see what's going on with this piece of paper?
Well, it's up to them if they are, but like to you, it's very obvious. Like you're watching the letters, like as if they were on tiles on a Scrabble board. Like they're
So as that's happening, I am going to basically tell the people around me, the villagers, being like, you don't get to see this shit if you're gonna not share anything with me. Like turn away.
So now they're curious. Kind of like.
I hope they are, and I'll stand up and bring the letter over to the others and be like,
okay.
For those,
and eventually the letters do stop. And once you're looking at it, the chill stops. It's no longer painful at all. It's just normal room temp message. But the letters continue to move until you get the message that hopefully you now see in the chat.
Above the soup.
Why are you all so
It's
faded?
above the soup.
It's above the soup.
It's above, yeah. Spell it with your P's.
Spell it with P's.
And the rest of the letter is blank. So now that's all you see. The letters that weren't used essentially have been wiped off the note.
Okay, so Beatrice is going to gesture to the letters, but not read anything aloud.
Like trying to get us to look at it?
Sorry,
I'm
Minos
going
is...
to be like, everyone should read this.
Okay, I'm not going to notice. Minos is waiting for someone to be his guide, to react, I guess. If no one... Sorry, let me know if anybody reacts to Minos asking for a guide.
So there's a bit of commotion where Beatrice is suddenly ripping something out of her breast.
Oh.
And that definitely does attract nearby onlookers. The ones who are further away and not noticing that would have heard Minos's sort of call out for a guide, and they are very studiously trying to avoid his gaze, and no one is answering him.
Oh, but I got like very doe eyes. Like I'm getting like really close to them, and I'm like, oh, we could really use a guide though.
You want to give me a persuade?
Sure.
With disadvantage on that one. Oh, never mind, advantage.
Hey.
He just has a -1. Oh, sorry. What did?
15.
I got a 15.
Okay. So you go, and the nervous-looking deacon that you remember going up to remind the cleric that he had the wrong Oliver in his speech, sighs and finally meets your gaze and kind of looks abashed and says, no one in the village is going to want to venture into the swamplands, especially in the direction of the manor, but we can point you where to go, and there's a bit of a trail, and if you follow the trail, you get there, probably get there.
What?
You look very big. I think you'll get there.
Why won't anybody go? Should we not go?
No, you should go.
Oh, okay, that's good then.
Definitely go.
I don't want you to be in danger, but if you could provide me with like a map or something, then I would appreciate that.
Yeah, well...
Because I know you wouldn't want me to be in danger either, right? Because we're friends now.
I wouldn't want that.
What's your name? My name's Minos.
My name is also Minos.
Oh, hello, Minos. That's a very good name.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good to be good buds with you, and I look forward to sharing a drink with you in the future.
Yes, because you have a future.
I do, because you just said so that's good. Good thing to say.
Mhm.
And can I insight the deacon to see if he's being weird because he wants to get rid of Minos, or
He's
weird
being
because he
weird.
actually has like a nefarious purpose?
So
Yeah,
did I
it's
get a
weird.
map? Did I get a
Yeah,
map, or you
but-
just described how to get there? So okay, so hopefully Minos will remember that.
Oh, wait, I rolled less than an 8, so I get an 8 instead.
Oh.
So to see if people are lying to me, I have a baseline roll on insight of like 8 plus 5, so 13.
But what if they're lying to Minos?
Because you're a lie detector.
Yes, at level 3, I've learned how to
Oh, cool.
read the
Sure.
organic beings' facial
Cool.
features, body
That
language.
might come in handy. The deacon is definitely okay. He is lying. His name is not
I mean,
Minos.
yeah, I was pretty sure his name wasn't Minos.
But he's not. He does not strike you as a calculated or well-practiced
Yeah.
liar. He is a panicked liar. So
He doesn't want to come with us to the swamp. Basically.
That's it. Yes, he doesn't want to go. The swamp. He was telling the truth. The swamp is dangerous. He does know where to go. There is a trail, but he thinks it is dangerous.
But based on his description, I would be able to get there from here now.
There is a trail that we can follow.
Cool.
There's a
So
you can
yeah, so
follow.
I start dragging my thing, still releasing everywhere I'm going, still releasing the flower petals. I'm gonna use up like most of the charges on the staff. So there's just tons of rose petals all over the floor now. And I'm heading out of the temple. I'm gonna are you guys all set to go?
Yeah, it's Tim. Would it be possible to find a place conveniently that would just have like swamp gear, like like big rubber boot type pant things?
Yeah, if you were to ask around the villagers, you would be able to find people who would lend that to you.
Okay. I'm just like concerned about the satchel and the mail that I'm carrying, so I want to make sure I have like a waterproof container for that.
The village doesn't actually really have. I mean, you haven't
Stores?
spent much time here, but like stores,
Okay.
which is interesting. Even the inn is really more of just a larger house that happens to have enough spare rooms to accommodate merchants who do come to the village. So they mostly just kind of lend and trade amongst themselves as necessary. And so if you want swamp gear, people will lend it to you, that being like more waterproof type stuff. They don't have anything in the way of like specialized swamp weapons, but
Okay.
but they
Yeah,
can
it's just
give you, like,
mostly the waterproof gear. I'm
yeah,
looking
they
for.
can give you like stuff to like a cloak and boots and stuff, pants, like sort of what do they call the wade pants that you like pull up to
Waders?
your boobs? Yeah,
Hip
Dry.
waders, yeah.
they can give you those.
Okay, sweet.
I'm still going to be gesturing this note to everyone.
In fact, they almost
Oh.
one thing to add, they almost are eager to give you the swamp gear. They're kind of like when you say it, they're like, yeah, here you go,
Oh, okay.
off you go.
Check it for traps.
Everyone is so nice.
So
We are
Rocket,
going to see their countess.
So, hey everyone, this is weird. And I show them the piece of paper that is now no longer carrying the Countess's message.
Or is
It
it
now says,
crazy?
"Why are you?" So-"
Does it still read what it was reading?
Yep.
before?
Yeah, it's been permanently changed. So once the letters shifted, they stopped moving, and it's almost as if, well, it's exactly as if that had been what was written, except that everything else is blank on the page.
Is
Can I
the
check mine to
handwriting
see if
the
it
same as
has the
before?
same message? Oh, sorry.
If you pull out yours, it does have the exact same message, but the letters are no longer moving themselves. So you pull it out, and that's just
What
as
it
if
is?
that is what had always been there.
Minos will look over at Beatrice's letter and go, "Oh, I guess so you weren't invited." But I'm sure we can convince her that you're part of the group, though. Don't worry.
I'm just gonna give like a strong thumbs up, and then is gonna pull out her quill.
Yeah, is the handwriting still the countess's?
Yes,
Mm,
Yeah.
oh.
it is still that Countess's handwriting. It is very, in fact, like, so it was written with ink, and the way that, as I understand it, if you take like a quill and dip it in ink, like the lettering is sometimes imperfect, like the ink can sometimes splotch in certain ways, or whatever, even when you have sort of a fine calligraphy. And it's exactly, even the flaws or the ink spots that had been made have been kept, albeit in a different
physically
order.
Shifted the letters around.
Correct. Exactly. That's where I'm going.
I'm gonna write back. Hi, new paper. Who dis?
Give me 1 second.
Sorry, did we ever say out loud what the message was for listeners?
No, we never said out loud.
Okay. For everybody listening, the letter had changed from what Rocket had read to, on Beatrice, I guess everybody's page is now saying, "Why are you all so faded? I'm scared." And now Beatrice has written, what? New page, who this? Who dis?
New page. Who dis?
Okay, so it's possible that there may be a response. The letters appear to be flickering as if they're considering a response.
As in like dot, dot,
convince
dot.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like buffering.
Oh, it left you on red.
Word.
Beatrice will wait, as if there's any small change at all. She'll wait for about 2 minutes before she becomes impatient.
There is almost an immediate response.
Okay, great.
So you wait, you do it. There's like a couple beats, and then you watch as the letters again pull themselves into a new order, creating a new message. And again, all of the letters that aren't used are wiped as if they were never there. So the page is basically almost entirely blank because there's not that many letters left. But what is left in the center of the page is the message that hopefully I just communicated to you there.
Yeah, make sure you read it out loud, Evan.
You all, why can't you hear me?
Oh, that's very cool. That's a cool trick, Beatrice.
I mean, I wish I could take credit for this, but I can't. Whoever this is being very quiet about who they are.
Maybe they're insulted because you didn't know their name.
Maybe if they're trying to hear, if they're trying to be heard by us, maybe they're nearby. And Beal type or right back in like, are you nearby? Well, I guess question mark.
Just to correct it.
she will use
proper
appropriate
punctuation.
grammar.
Yeah.
I will not, but she will. It's one of those things. Is like, would you do it or would your character do it? Very different.
So while this is happening, I'm going to, I guess, really carefully look around and see if there's any sign of some kind of ghost. So like a gust of wind going the wrong direction or stuff fluttering oddly. Or any kind of thing that doesn't seem quite normal for the inside of the church.
Can I do an insight check on the message?
So to notice if there's any ghostly activity, give me a perception check. Just to see if things are operating in the physical environment in a way you wouldn't expect.
Nope. I am wandering around.
Okay, so you're searching probably very carefully. You're like staring almost like with a little magnifying glass at everything. And it's, you might be missing the forest for the trees, as they say, like examining the fibers of the wood. Sorry, and then there was a question about another check that someone wanted to do, I think.
Oh, I thought that was me. I was.
We're still waiting on the answer for "Are you nearby?" Right? Or is that what the actual answer is? I'm in the corner watching you kiss.
Oh,
him.
no.
Oh.
Sorry.
I believe it's more of
I'm
in the
here.
corner.
Yes.
I hate
couldn't
this
resist.
person.
Okay. What is your name?
So, did you get the most recent message?
I did. Yeah, I'm here.
Well, I know you're
That-
here, but did you get the message?
To that, I said, "What is your name?"
Can we be like walking towards the manor?
Yeah.
I think I'm heading in that direction. I wouldn't be kind of just waiting for Beatrice. Hopefully Beatrice is kind of keeping up, maybe a little bit behind as she's...
Could you carry me as I'm drafting this
I
letter?
mean, we still have our cart, right?
Where
Yes.
is Gunnar? Do we have a reason as to where Gunnar
An
is?
excellent question.
Guarding the cart.
God
Is
damn
not.
it.
What brings you, perhaps, to this village? You wonder.
Eventually.
Eventually. Well, in fairness, a lot has been happening.
Yeah.
Unresolved grief over Elias's death bubbling up out of nowhere.
I just
New
woke up.
grief over
As
the
we-
loss of Oliver.
As we walked the manor, we're reflecting on how we got here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As one does.
You guys, do you remember what Gunnar said before he left us? ...
At the bottom of the screen. It's like 2 days earlier.
Oh.
Media res. So what had brought you to the village, or the village is called Zorovia, and it is located in a valley of the same name. It is in fact the only settlement in Zorovia. So you accepted a contract to guard a merchant caravan that was going to Zorovia from the village of Shuk, which was where the adventurers had most recently assisted the mayor in repulsing an undead necromantic incursion. That's also where the adventurers had acquired the highly sought after CC Citron leggings. And resolved the mistaken kidnapping of CC.
Sorry, I missed it. How much time was between that then and now?
A couple of days.
Oh,
journey.
okay, good. So we didn't have like months and months of being with Oliver and being like, the only thing I remember is that I met him yesterday.
It was 10 years ago. He has children. No. It was basically you finished the undead thing. You proved your mettle, as it were. And so you're immediately recommended as being candidates for this new contract.
Mm-hmm.
You accepted and accompanied the caravan to Zorovia, except for Gunnar. Gunnar was specifically, by name, excluded from the contract, which was very peculiar. In fact, you expected that he might have some sort of ill-thought-out, ragey reaction to that. Except that at the same time, he was mentioned by name in a separate contract only for him. And he could not resist.
What was his other contract?
His other contract was the details were kept secret.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. That was very mysterious how Gunnar just left, huh?
It was.
I hope we...
Sorry, so is there, you're waiting on a response?
For what is your name, yeah.
Oh.
Nod.
Figuring out what could and could not be said. However, you are dealing with this letter thing. You're remembering sort of what brought you to Zorovia in the first place, but you're on your way essentially into the swamps to visit Blackthorn Manor according to the directions the deacon gave you.
Do we know what happened to the caravan we were protecting?
Sure. It arrived safely. It was a very uneventful journey.
What if I reward?
We're good at our jobs.
Yeah.
You have not yet collected your reward yet.
Oh, so who gave us the contract?
The contract was from the village of Zorovia itself. It pays to have people escort caravans in and out of the valley.
So would we be collecting from the Count or Countess?
Conceivably, you could.
Oh.
Or you could ask.
Well, we're on our way there, but I think Beatrice is still chatting with... We didn't get an answer yet to what is your name.
So as soon as assuming that we're in the swamp right now, Rocket would like run up Minos to get the heck out of the smelly swamp.
Mm.
I'm
I
assuming
assume you're riding on me most of the time. We must have a harness by
Sometimes.
now. Yeah.
lucky.
It's fantastic.
Where does the line fall?
Does anybody have the ability to detect whether someone invisible is nearby?
That's what Beatrice is asking.
Yes, Beatrice asking that in character.
I do have a flamethrower.
Oh.
Well, that is great,
Nope.
but not very helpful here.
Your answer to can you detect invisible people nearby was I have a flamethrower?
Have you never seen The Invisible Man? That's how they find them. Set them on
Yeah,
fire.
you know what? Fair enough. I guess. One detail that might be, it's not crucial, but might be important for you, from escorting the caravan into the valley is completely inaccessible, except for a very narrow passage through some impassable mountains that surround the valley. The narrow passage is quite aptly called the Eye of the Needle. And it is so narrow that only one wagon at a time can pass through in terms of width. So it has to be kind of like a single file. Like it could be multiple wagons in length, but they can only pass one at a time width-wise. So it's a very, very narrow passage, which makes it somewhat vulnerable. And then in addition to that, the fertile land of Zrovia, the valley, is surrounded by a ring just inside the mountains of swampland that is particularly dangerous for caravans. And you learned just kind of talking with the other your clients that caravans that are not escorted or stragglers who foolishly separate or allow themselves to be separated from the main caravan have disappeared in the swamps and never been seen since. So basically, you have the fertile farmland and settlement in the center, and then ring of swampland, ring of impassable mountains, and then one narrow way in. So that's
the
kind of
castle is in the mountains somewhere.
So the manor itself is actually in the swamplands, not too far from the entry point into the valley. So that's just to give you sort of a sense of the location, if that's important to you. You did get a reply on the
name thing, yeah.
A very useful reply. Serious.
Me.
So we're okay.
I responded with follow us. In what way are we fated?
Oh, I know what way I'm fated. Not right now though.
Staff of Flowers is out of charges.
Yeah. I didn't say I used up all the charges because I didn't want my staff to blow up.
So as the discussion is going on and you're heading into the swamp, there is no road as such for you to follow, but true to what the deacon told you, there is a meandering path. But even the term path is very generous description of what you are following. It is simply a slightly more weathered passage through the surrounding terrain than everything around it. As I described to you, the gentle rolling hills and the fertile fields of the village quickly give way to woods and then marshlands, and then this weird, ominous combination of the two, with giant skeletal trees twisting their rotting limbs skyward and tangling together in a grim canopy, while beneath you, thick swamp mud sucks at your feet, occasionally spewing out foul-smelling miasma. There is movement all around you, skittering and chittering, and if you weren't as sensible and logical as you are, you might almost think it was some kind of inhuman laughter. It isn't long, in fact, it is shockingly quick that darkness appears to fall all around you once you have entered the swampland, and the way becomes all the more foreboding and treacherous. Motes of glowing light dance at the edge of your vision, vanishing whenever you try to turn your head to examine them more closely. As your adrenaline surges and then fades, you find yourself beginning to yawn. It's getting harder and harder for you to focus as the night deepens and you're being drained, slogging through the muck and the mire. So I will need everyone to make a skill check. I have not predefined the skill you can apply, but I would like everyone to apply a different skill and justify why they're applying the skill in the circumstances.
Intimidate the swamp. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Conceivably, you might be able to intimidate another player into not being exhausted. I could accept that, for instance. But like, as long as you're able to sort of explain. So if you could all make a skill check, please.
This exhaustion from effort, or is this literally being put to sleep?
It's not magical. It's exhaustion on the physical and stress related, so like psychological. Does that sort of help?
Yep. Okay.
It's not like a mystic influence, but it's the psychological stress. And
does this work as a reasoning? Like, so if I did an athletics check where I'm doing like jumping jacks every time I get tired, I'm like, okay, gotta get the blood pumping again.
Pump yourself up. Yeah, I would accept that. I think that's fair. So if you want to do an athletics check, sort of. Sorry,
We all need to do something different.
Yes, please. So
everyone's okay with me taking athletics?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll do history. Because can I do like experience with history, or is history going to be more like knowledge?
Books and knowledge.
History is often knowledge, but I mean, conceivably you could have played a role in history.
Okay.
Not to say that you didn't.
But wait, before you keep going, Kaz, as an option, Tim, you can actually change what the attribute is for a skill. So let's say he wants history and he's trained in history, but he's saying it's based on the past. That could be like a wisdom rather than like so it'd be a wisdom history role, but that's really kind of getting into the weeds of it. I'm just want you the option to know that that's a thing
I'm open to that if a player wishes to do that. I'm more interested in the explanation of why than the mechanic per se, but for sure.
When people describe things to you and you want to kind of think about what the skill check might be, that is an option. Just so
good.
you know. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks. So yes, go ahead, Cass. If you feel that Rocket would have either personally experienced it in her personal history or had read about it, about a historical event where there was maybe a long trek through this sort of terrain or something like that, go for it.
Yeah, I'll say that like Rocket, when they were trying to invent like goggles that could see like at night, they did like a lot of research into the different like gases that come out of swamps and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I buy it. So please proceed with the check.
Thank you.
So Ironjaw is going to try to roll an insight check to recognize that this is just a long trek through the swamp and that there's nothing inherently dangerous or horribly exhausting about it, and we're more than capable of making it through ourselves.
Okay. Kind of doing the mental sort of
like
mind over matter.
There's no reason to give up. It's just a swamp.
Sure. Fight the despair.
Yeah.
I've got one too.
Please.
Beatrice is going to check I want to say deception.
Go do that. Okay. Go on.
I'm either deception or performance. So, as someone who's dealt with young kids and having to put up with them, it's an exercise of mental tolerance in convincing herself that things are fine and that things are better than they are.
Interesting.
But because she's been so focused on this letter, I don't think she's had appropriate time to really realize what's going on, and her efforts are kind of half focused. So I don't know if that would be more of a performance or whether that or like perception or deception, like a self-deception.
I could see it as a self-deception or performance. So I'll leave it
self-deception, but because she's focused elsewhere, would you like me to do disadvantage?
Yeah, I'm also open to that. I think that's pretty reasonable because since your focus is elsewhere.
Okay, how do I do that?
That I do not know.
Exclamation point, check the word, and then DIS for disadvantage, I believe.
I think the last person I need is Minos. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. I was waiting.
Sorry. Yep.
Yep. So my plan is I'd like to use animal handling. And what I would like to do is I'd like to find some animals in the swamp. So frogs and snakes and that. I'd also like to cast Speak with Animals to make it maybe a little bit even easier to communicate with them. And the plan is to try to kind of convince the animals to ward away kind of any predators that might be coming our way as we are kind of traversing the swamp.
I like it.
Cool. So animal handling's good?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Any chance I can sneak a advantage by casting my Speak with Animals on that?
Absolutely.
I wasn't sure if you're handling yourself or whether you're handling another animal.
Yeah, it's true. It could go either way. Sorry, so I'm just gonna look at the rules now.
You're like, oh, you got this. It's okay. You're not tired at
Do you
all.
want a cookie? Would you do it for a Minos snack?
I love that.
I could like hold.
I
like,
want me no snacks.
I could hold like a little carrot in front of you and put it like on a string, on a stick.
All right, just having a quick chat with our silent partner here.
Yeah, no worries.
So perfect. So it looks like everyone has managed to fight off the stressful exhaustion, except except for Beatrice. She's having difficulty deceiving herself, but
She's just not focused on it.
Can I roll a sleight of hand to just like slap her?
I am to that, but actually, sorry, we're not quite finished. She's not able to deceive herself quite well, but all of a sudden, you notice she starts to tremble.
Oh.
And
damn, rheumatoid arthritis kicking in again.
There's a cream for that.
Her mind is flooded with thoughts, sort of alien thoughts. They're very distorted.
She originally was typing, like doing hand printed letters, but now that she's getting a bit tremory, she's now writing in cursive.
And she, her body eventually steadies, but her eyes flash. And while it seemed like she was about to succumb to the stress of the swamp and the exhaustion that it was, she was about to succumm to, she suddenly fights it off.
Oh, she didn't die yet. Yay.
Yeah, she shrugs it off and in fact, she shrugs off almost easily, as if she was never going to succumb to it at all.
Oh, good job, Beatrice. I'm so proud of you.
I deceived you all.
So
I'm not dragging the bag anymore, by the way. I probably would have like secured it. Like, I don't want to like ripping the part like a trash bag or something and leaving all the stuff behind.
So you are all successful at not succumbing to the exhausting effects of the swamp. Minos, you had sort of recruited some little critters. They become very agitated.
Oh no, what's wrong, little buddies?
All of a sudden.
My Speak with Animals is 1 hour, by the way.
So, yeah.
Oh no, it's 10 minutes. It's only 10 minutes. I could cast it again, I guess. If it's outside of 10 minutes and I see that the animals are trembling, I'll cast my Speak with Animals again.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
So do you want me to? Do you want me to cast it again? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Sorry. As in, my question is, has it been 10 minutes since I've noticed that?
Sorry. Yes, it has been 10 minutes. So you kind of fight off the exhaustion. You're continuing to slog through the swamp. It's taking more time, and then all of a sudden, the animals become.
Okay. So now that I've noticed that, I'm going to cast Speak with Animals. I'm going to go up to them. Oh, little buddies, why are you shivering?
How much
Oh,
Does-
let me.
How much communication do they do? Is it like a one-word thing? or is it like,
post the
right,
spell
like
for everyone
It's
here.
Shakespearean.
Yeah, they're like
Animals
a
are very well
pentameter
spoken.
from the frog.
You gain the
like,
ability to
whatever.
comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration. The knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence, but at minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations and monsters, including whatever they can perceive or have perceived within the past day. You might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favor for you at the GM's discretion.
Okay, so they're relatively communicative. Like,
I speak verbally, I guess, and I understand. I don't know if I understand them, but
Yeah, comprehend.
yeah.
can
Okay, yeah. So I can hear them talk back to me,
Okay.
but low intelligence.
Okay, how would
Not
they
to
do
challenge you or anything.
that? No, it's good. It's just I'm trying to like be realistic. I don't want to deprive you of the effects. So if you feel like I'm not giving you enough information, feel free
No. Yeah, please. Just
to
take your
push a
time.
little, and I'll
Take your
give
time
you
to figure it
more.
out. Yep.
So these little frogs are kind of like hopping around, very agitated, and they go, "Bone man, hide! Bone man, hide!"
Oh no, a boom man. I turn around and I say, hide everyone, a boom man.
Or bone.
Ask them where he is.
I was trying to say bone, just.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard bone.
oh,
That's
okay.
okay.
Good boat.
Is the bone
Oh,
man
not
following us?
boom.
So bone man.
Actually,
Frog
in,
had
in
a speech
fairness,
impediment. He's very sensitive about it.
Then I'm not that scared. Where is the bone man?
He's coming this way.
Oh, everyone, there's a bone man coming this way. We better hide. So
What?
Minos is gonna try to go hide in the.
Okay, so if you want
wait,
to hide,
Minos, come back. Don't get lost in the swamp.
I guess I'll be on his shoulder, just like screeching, like, "Where are we going?"
I'm not sorry. So the way it is there's a small path, right? That's what we're kind of following. But there's a lot of foliage around. Is that right? In terms of like swamp, typical foliage, I guess.
Yeah,
Flora.
and it's very muddy and wet, so it's
Yeah. So I'm not going too far, kind of away off the path.
Okay.
I'm trying to just kind of get whatever first structure.
There are trees, even in the swamp,
Okay.
rise up out of the swamp, and sort of tangle together, and they actually create a bit of a visibility issue in terms of the sky above them. So, like, they're pretty thick. They're old trees. So they're
How
If I fail my stealth.
yeah. If anyone who wants to hide would be making a stealth check. Just
Okay, so I'm
Okay.
gonna try.
do you need
We'll
us to
see.
specify how we hide?
If it wouldn't hurt you to specify it. I think
Sure.
that specifying it is always to your advantage, because if it's particularly persuasive, you might get advantage, for instance.
Okay, it's not. I'm gonna hide in a tree.
Okay, then don't bother. But if you have a really good idea, please share
Okay.
it.
I don't.
So I'm gonna follow Minos, and I'm just gonna sink down into the mud so that only my eyes are up above.
Ooh.
Yes, nice.
Wow,
So-
that's a good roll.
Breathe. That's
So when-
fucking
Don't
creepy
need to
as
breathe.
fuck, but sure.
So whenever Minos goes to hide, if they fail miserably, I'm just gonna kind of like pull myself onto like a branch off of his shoulder and stay in the
'cause you're
tree.
small.
Yeah.
I like it.
Wow, there's some really good rolls so far.
He sent a message.
Have you not rolled yet?
I did roll.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I'll notice how terrible you do and just like leave.
You're the Momo.
Yeah.
Rocket is just fed up with being spotted when Minos can't hide.
Had the ones before. Someone
Rocket, where are you
died.
going? No, Rocket!
Tim, B wrote something at the bottom there. Is there a response yet?
Oh, sorry. I scrolled
It was
up, I guess. or
Follow
something.
us. In what way are we fated?
Oh, in what way are we fated? Sorry. Let me just confirm what.
Yeah.
We'll look at your rolls. Oh, god damn! You are some hidey bitches. But I don't think is everyone not hiding, or are.
I warned everyone about the Bone Man that's coming, so it's on you if you're hiding or not.
Yeah, because I've got 3 rolls so far, and that like well hit 'em rolls.
I think the only just
There is a minus roll
Beatrice?
above that.
Only
Oh,
Beatrice
is there?
hasn't
Maybe,
rolled.
maybe I
yeah,
missed it.
up
Yeah.
above the couple of gifts.
Sorry,
you don't
this
need to
is,
look at it.
this is to give you guys in a sort of a sense of what you're dealing with, except maybe amp up the
Okay.
level of fluid at the bottom of the swampiness of the stealth check. Oh, is that a 6?
Do you see the GIF? That's what I'm doing.
That's perfect.
Bunch of horns sticking out from behind a tree.
How big are you hunched over trying to hide, Minos?
Miserably, I'm assuming. So quite a bit of me would be poking out of whatever tree I guess I'm trying to hide behind.
At this point, for whatever reason, you've chosen not to hide behind a tree, but picked up a branch.
Okay.
Holding it in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it somewhere before about these like bushes that you can move around the bushes, but
Yeah,
I'm only
exactly.
I'm only covering my eyes, so I
Yeah.
feel like they can't see me.
Yeah, if I can't see you.
So I don't even know that rocket has jumped ship and hidden somewhere completely else.
So again, you see a giant, muscular, like a minotaur boulder, like 1 foot off the road with a branch inside of his face, grinning like really proud of himself. All of a sudden, he begins to tremble.
Oh.
There's a flash of violet in his eyes, and he immediately finds a nearby tree. And there are 2 trees that have kind of intertwined. He pulls them apart to reveal a hollow space, like a hollow in the sense of a space within a tree that was concealed by the branches. He's able to fit himself in there and close the branches, and he's completely hidden from view. In fact,
And in my head, I'm just going like, I am so smart. I am so hidden.
Yeah, it's completely hidden. In fact, he's probably the best hidden of all of you at this point.
Ooh, yeah, suck on that with all your high rolls.
Yeah. So the trembling again does remind you, and the flashing in the eyes, of what had occurred to Beatrice earlier in the swamp. It seemed like she was going to succumb to the exhaustion, and then all of a sudden she was completely invigorated more than ever, the most invigorated of anyone. Similarly here, it looked like Minos not maybe doing the best job of hiding, and then all of a sudden he like saw this miraculous space that he had no way of knowing was there, and he beelined to it, pulled up the branches, tucked himself in, sealed them up, and he was good to go.
The one time I get good rolls, and it's the opposite game.
It's not quite. There's a method to the madness, don't worry.
Getting
But it is good
possessed
that
isn't a good thing.
only one
No
person-
side effects whatsoever.
Beatrice, could you resend the message that you had earlier written into the...
Do you want me to just say it or read it or write it? Type it?
Probably write it, I think, would be useful.
Sure. So this was one that I sent.
I'm getting affirmation that would be useful.
I sent this one well before the hide thing came up.
Sure.
So while that hiding thing was going on, she probably still would have been waiting for a response. I was
Okay.
like head down, oblivious to what was going on.
So not hiding at all.
Well, I was. If there was no response, she probably would have jumped in front of Minos and cast Minor Illusion.
Okay.
But
Well, there wasn't a response. The response is only coming now.
okay, so then she would have just jumped off. Do you want me to try and hide?
You could, but if you're using Minor Illusion, that potentially could enable you to hide as well.
I will just do that then.
Sure. Do you want to describe the illusion?
It is going to be literally just a tree.
Okay, perfect. So another tree that's
Just
kind of
another.
indistinguishable.
Oh, like a palm tree?
Actually, no, it is. It's gonna be.
Just
A
completely
Christmas
out of
tree, it's
place.
like flashing light.
It's gonna be a bush, but it's gonna be a bush that probably shouldn't be here. Like all the other plant life is very like is very dark and dingy and like dark green, and this one's like minty green.
Okay. Emerald, like
Emerald,
a bush of
yeah.
many colors.
With berries.
Perfect. Nevertheless, you do appear, as far as you know, to be hidden. And as you wait, I assume you're waiting. You hear the sound of music. It's not orchestral music. It's more like pub, country. Somebody brought out their fiddle. Somebody's like,
Oh, I've got that.
scritching along with their washboard. Somebody's got their tankard that they're blowing into. Someone's just keeping percussion time with spoons or maybe an empty keg or whatever. So it's a very lively, jovial sort of music. It's not like the swelling of an orchestra.
Oh, if you want to hear the music, Tim, by the way, you can go to the background music if you want to. So I'm trying to match what you're describing. So that's why.
I trust you.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure you've
Yeah.
It's not crucial. Just to give you the flavor of the type of music. I don't want you to think it's like,
Oh, it's crucial. I got you.
So as the music comes, Beatrice, I'll just let you know that you. Oh my God! Yes, exactly. You got a response.
Where are all my hearts?
Whenever you get a response, there is that moment of cold, but it's so brief that it's painful, but not like inflicting damage and not like agony. It's just like more like a pinch that draws your attention, and you see a response, and then it immediately.
I share that with everyone. It says, whoever's on the other side of this letter seems to be following us. I don't know. Maybe he's called Bone Man. Maybe he's dead, but not dead, but dying.
Wait, we're still hiding. Wait, are we still hiding? Is this
Yeah,
before or after? What's going on with Beatrice calling out? Is she calling from her bush?
That's up to you guys.
Well, I guess we don't know when Beatrice would have gotten this message back. Is she getting it back?
It is wild. She has cast this illusion, and you're you just heard music. The music is getting louder.
Okay,
then I will hold on to that for now.
Sorry, I didn't do a good job.
You can just break your bush like, hey, this is what he says.
And then eventually coming into view, being carried on a. What is this guy?
That's so funny.
So
that
perfect.
one fits pretty well. Yeah.
Inside this bush.
You
Oh,
see
Bone Man.
a skeleton dressed in rich but sort of rotting, heavily worn finery. He's being carried on a sedan, or a sedan, I don't know, like a chair, by 6 zombies, which are very obvious to you. You can tell they're walking, rotting, reeking, mindless, moaning corpses, so it doesn't take a lot to figure out what they are. They're carrying him, and then there's another retinue of about 4 zombies who are playing music on the instruments that I described to you. He is smoking, so the skeleton in the top hat is smoking a fat cigar with one hand, and in the other hand he has what looks to be a snifter of some kind of liquid that he occasionally sips. He is passing by on the passage, and as he passes by and smokes and takes his sips, he looks around and he stops in front of the bush that seems out of place.
Can I just get a quick clarification? Is it still tavern music?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Still
It's
tavern
very
music.
bright, it's
Lively.
good time music, as it were. Like, it's not sinister. It's
So I'm gonna put the letter just back in my bust. Shut up.
okay.
And she's gonna. Can she like repeat cast immediately? Because it only lasts for a minute.
You have to recast this bush every minute.
So
let me-
called good illusion.
It's not called major.
Is it an instant?
Yeah, it's
Is it-
instant.
Sure.
There
I'll say
might be-
the break would be so close as to be like if she's ready, right? When she's
That
Might be a-
moment where she's like,
yeah.
Push.
I would say she sensed the magic fading, and she's so attuned that the second it fades, she's able to reactivate it to kind of create a seamless transition.
Like an excellent backdrop for a puppet show.
Potentially. So if this is what you do,
Awkward silence.
So no one's doing anything. The sedan stops in front of the bush. He's just smoking and drinking and looking around. He has no eyes. He's a skeleton, so you can't really. You assume he's looking just like from his skull rotating on his vertebrae, whatever, his neck, but you don't see particularly what he's looking at or what his expression is.
Does he look like a count?
That was my next question.
Can I do a history check?
Does he look like a cat?
That's a great
Like, is he
question.
wearing-
That is a great question, and sure, give me a history check.
All right.
I like it.
Stop.
And I don't know much about counts, I guess.
What? We're cursed. This land is cursed.
wait, his eyes are
Don't
gonna
read
go.
ahead,
It's fine.
I haven't rolled over a 4 yet.
Oh, it's awful.
Uh,
Stealth check is good.
You have no idea.
Yeah, okay. He's wearing nice clothes, but I've never seen a count before. I don't know why I
Exactly.
bothered thinking about it.
Exactly. You're like, I don't know these names. Anyone doing anything else?
I don't even see this. I'm still covering my eyes in my tree.
Yeah, you're.
Well hidden.
Wait, she can cast more than one at a time, right? Can she
Not
cast
if they're
multiple creatures?
concentrations.
As long as they're not concentration spells. Exactly.
Only one concentration spell at a time. And
Okay.
most illusions will probably be a concentration spell.
Minor illusion is not a concentration.
No, neither of them are.
Oh, nice.
Duration 1 minute.
So
Cool.
maybe if the creature or the skeleton gets too close, I might prestidigitate a small puff of wind in the other direction that rustles some branches on the other side.
Where Peter's hiding.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, but more specifically, it won't just be like it'll both rustle the leaves a little bit. Wait, can it be it has to be sound or can't be both, right?
Yeah, prestidigitation is pretty small.
Okay, so I was gonna make it sound like a fart, but it will just be the wind.
His head rotates in that direction.
I only do it if he's like, what is this?
Oh no.
bush?
He doesn't like lean it. He's on his chair. He's pretty comfortable. It's a nice chair.
So it's more like a ready to action.
Okay, perfect. In that case, the caravan passes on, or whatever you want to call it. The undead procession carries on. Nothing happens. Give me a perception check, though.
Come on.
Anyone
bye.
who can see. So, Jamie, it sounds like Minos is so
Yeah,
consumed.
yeah. That's cool.
So
I don't know how you want to play this, but prestidigitation would have a verbal component.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, but it sounds like it's not going to come up because he never does lean in from the sedan chair.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So it's
Perfect.
not going to be an issue, I don't.
Just so Beatrice kind of knows in the future,
And-
I guess, that spell would require
Speaking
verbal.
audibly.
Yeah. hmm
So sorry, anyone who can see him, which I think is everyone else, can do the perception check.
These rolls are not going to continue. I just need everyone to be aware of
Holy
this.
fuck, yeah,
just,
you
just
have
carry
to.
the rest of us for a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
none
we'll
of us have
catch
rolled well.
Oh,
Never
so's
mind, Peter.
Jen. Jen's doing all
An
right.
18 is all right, I guess.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
That's a nat 20,
You
Peter.
two are so fearless and have such presence of mind as well as accuracy of sight. You notice that the skeleton, which is otherwise the skeleton in the chair, which is otherwise, immaculately dressed for a corpsey skeleton, is missing his left leg.
And the rest of us don't notice that.
No, you're worried, I guess, about keeping yourself
Being
hidden.
hidden.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
So the procession departs. That's one detail, because you guys rolled like stupid high. That you Onward, then.
Does anybody have a way to detect? Does anyone have a way to detect if there's a spiritual being following us?
I tried looking for one and didn't find anything.
There's a flamethrower.
I can check. I can determine if a celestial fiend or undead is nearby. I'm pretty sure there's an undead nearby.
But you can confirm.
Wait for the skeleton guy to wander off.
The
He has,
skeleton
right? He's
is-
gone.
Okay.
And he's like 80 zombies. No one did.
No.
I don't know if like I am blocked. Like my divine sense that I have as a mailman, as we've discussed.
I'm not like if feel free to do it if you'd like to. I'm just telling you, you can be reasonably confident there are undead.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
So wait, he's gone now. The guy is further away.
There's a lot of assumptions being made that I'm uncomfortable with.
I assumed so many things about this individual just now.
It's up to you. Depending on how long you wait, you can wait until he's out of sight, the music fades.
So, the music was getting louder as he came. Oh, and did we?
He was being
Yeah,
followed
some of
by a
his
bunch of
zombies
dudes.
were
Like,
playing the music.
They were playing the music. I see.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
see.
I
Cool.
noticed.
I missed it. I missed it.
Yeah. So there were the ones carrying the chair, and then there were the four kind of doing the music, and then there was boss skeleton dude sitting on his chair with his drink and his cigar, with no lungs and no throat, but you know.
So I guess they move on.
Unless
And the
you-
music, and the music's gone as well. So now we're back to like swamp sounds. Cool.
but not for much longer.
Oh.
Because you arrive at what you can only assume to be Blackthorn Manor. Sitting in the center of a great inland lake, probably responsible for the presence of so much water in this swampland. The manor sits at the center of the inland lake, whose dark waters churn even with no breeze in the air. The soaring edifice is constructed of giant blocks of stone, impressive if they were not also crumbling to ruin, another victim of the inhospitable swampland environment. The building is so dark it blends seamlessly into the starless night sky above. Only the light from an occasional guttering torch at the manor betrays the outline. Ahead of you is a worn dock with a single dinghy bobbing beside it. Something primal inside you balks at the idea of trusting yourself to the rickety boat and this dark lake, especially since the boat's sides dip perilously close to the water of the lake as it rises and falls.
I don't trust this boat, guys. If only Kenneth were here, he would know how to get past this body of water.
Yeah. Can I do a perception check on the lake?
Sure.
I'm trying to see if I can get a sense of what is causing the ripples. Come on, not 3.
Hey.
Hey, it's not
Still
free.
under
It's
10.
not 3. 3 cubed. 3 squared.
So,
Yeah,
as
3
I
squared.
mentioned, the air around the manor is still, so it doesn't account for the fact that the water is moving. It's so dark. Does Beatrice have dark vision?
No, she's human.
So you're not able to spot anything specific, but you're relatively confident that something comes sort of close to the surface and then descends. It's sort of almost emerges from the water and then submerges again.
Okay. Hey,
But you're unable to tell what exactly.
I don't like this. This is kind of scary.
Ask the
Minos,
paper guy what we should do. Ask the
Okay.
ask the paper guy.
I'll ask the paper guy.
ask for his pay-per-view.
Hey.
So Minos is going to cast magic stone on a couple of the pebbles in his pocket and place one in the sling, and he's going to shoot it some distance away from kind of this bobbing thing that we're seeing into the lake. So launching magic pebble into the lake far away from thing.
So as you do that, Beatrice, who is kind of monitoring the lake, notices that whatever she was tracking sort of in the lake heads that direction.
Oh.
Oh,
No.
it appears to be tracking and going in that direction.
I don't like this lake. This music is not helping.
Is it still the party music?
No. It actually is quite atmospheric.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
spooked.
Can I do a survival check maybe to see how quickly it might take us to row across the water?
Oh, and a matter of minutes.
Okay, so
Wait, there's one boat for all of us?
How many people can fit in once?
Well, you're
Am-
not a person.
am I talking with someone with half a brain, Tim?
Well, you are going to have some awkward conversations in your future, potentially. Yes, the dinghy is large enough that it looks like it could accommodate all of you, particularly given the fact that Rocket is so small. That said, I'm talking spatially, not necessarily.
Compact. We prefer compact.
Right. Not necessarily in fun size. Not necessarily in terms of weight. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it could. I'm just saying that
Minos is gonna put like one of his hoofs in the boat to try to like test and see how stable it is just with his weight.
it takes your hoof.
Okay, I'm gonna get in the boat then.
So the boat plunges a foot below the water and water rushes in, but then it bobs back up.
It's a moody boat. What's
So is it like right at the edge then? Like the edge of the boat and the water, like nobody else could come in?
That's what it appears to you right now, yes.
Oh, okay. We don't know. I don't know if anybody else should join.
Is it leaking? Is this something we can try to fix before using it?
There doesn't appear like it's not sinking.
Okay. It's just a small, or like a not particularly floaty boat.
Like it's old and not well constructed.
Well, I guess since we're right on the edge, now would be the time to try it. I guess maybe Peter, do you want to get in with me? There's a chance you'll get a little wet.
Yeah, sure.
I'm no longer on your shoulder, by the way.
No, yeah.
I
I would have just
will
had me
climb
go
on.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Just
Okay.
like how you ran into the bushes without my consent.
So, sorry. Who?
Peter's getting in the boat with Minos.
I have a question. So, like, what's on the other shoreline?
Like
The house, the manor.
Is there any trees, or is it like just a manor on a? No.
There are no trees. There appears to be, what best you can tell from the poor light of the torches, is that there's like a meter of sort of rock around, and then the manor, and that's it. There's like no elaborate garden.
Do we have a
around.
good judgment of distance? Like it's relatively close, right?
Yes, that's right. Like you need a boat to get there, but it's like 10 minutes of rowing, maybe.
Okay. So if we tied like a string on this, do you think the string would span just so that they can pull the boat back once we're on the other side?
A rope, yeah.
I prefer
Yeah.
a rope.
A
over
rope. A
string
rope is what I
personally.
meant. No, a string,
rope
some
amongst
floss.
all of you.
Some floss.
I'll like knit it back.
Because I think
Yarn.
all adventurers have like 50 feet of
50
Yeah.
feet of rope.
Yeah, between all of you would have enough for sure.
How low does the boat get when Peter gets in the boat with Minos?
So it's the same thing. It dips
Oh.
below, it fills up with another sort of foot of swamp water, and then it rises back up.
Well, each time somebody gets in, I'm gonna try to scoop out like water with.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
With your hose?
With I guess whatever equipment. I must have a canteen. That might
Sure,
take a
sure,
while.
You can like kind of cup your whatever. pots.
Yeah. But it looks like it's the same height then. Oh, maybe it's a magical boat. Or maybe it's a magical lake. Or a magical boat and a magical lake that we could all get in. I don't think the Countess would have invited us and didn't have a way for us all to get there in one go. And I'm pretty sure she also wouldn't have had anything in the water to attack us.
Just swim.
Can I call out? I
What
just
would you like to
yell?
call out? Of course you can call out, but
Countess, the adventurers you've invited are here. Can you help us across the lake? Hello?
sorry. You call out. The lake waters part. From
Oh,
the edge of the dock, the water pulls back on one side and then the other. Moses reference. Leading to a muddy but otherwise unencumbered way for you to make it to the front of the manor if you wish to use that.
Huh.
Right, Binos. The Countess wants us to come visit.
oh, that was easy. I kind of like awkwardly get out of the boat.
It's just like on dry land.
Do we see anything in the water? Like, okay, so I'm going to start walking the path where the water has split. Do we see anything in the lake that now that we're like beside these columns? Yeah. Oh, hello, fishes. I guess it's dark. If it's dark out, we actually probably might not see.
It is dark.
Oh, I do have dark vision.
Dark
though.
vision.
Right.
You
I do have
might-
dark vision.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
So, what you see in the lake are bodies.
Oh.
Humanoid bodies.
Don't
But
like that.
they're moving. Like,
They're-
not just like
They're floating?
buffeted by the current, but like
They're
deliberately.
swimming?
Actively moving.
Oh.
I'm not sure I would call it swimming.
I'm not sure I
They're
would
not
call this
walking.
swimming, everyone, but there are bodies in here that are moving.
They're walking
Oh my god, they're walking.
on the bottom. Like,
I would not call it swimming, I would call it walking.
if it matters to you. They do not seem concerned with oxygen, particularly.
And are they walking towards us, or just doing their
they're
own
walking to and
business?
fro. They don't seem fixated on you.
Okay, well, they're just doing their own thing, so I guess that's probably fine.
Well, yeah, now.
I keep walking towards the manor, I suppose.
You're able to make it to the other side. Again, it's kind of an unpleasant walk with all the mud, but
It's very
Nothing-
muddy, everyone, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'm following.
I'll follow.
Yeah.
I'll have a lantern lit, I guess, so that we can see, have a bit more light.
I have
Thank
dark
you. Yeah, Beatrice is walking back, and as soon as she gets to the other side, she casts prestidigitation to clean people's feet.
Oh, that's nice.
you are classy, bro. She classy.
And
Just
she's
like
gonna
Jesus did.
she's going to communicate what's going on too with what she's been writing back and forth. So she's getting a whole bunch of nonsense from this letter writer. So I'm like, what is in the water? The profound response of water. How do we
Running
help?
out of ink?
What kind of magic is going on with that paper, Beatrice?
Well, it may be just enchanted to be frustrating. I have the idea that there's someone or
I
something
can
here
confirm it's highly frustrating. Yes.
that's here to help. But it's being less than specific on how we can help. I'm wondering whether it's something or someone on a different plane that is partially here, because they said something along the lines of everything's fuzzy.
It could just be a big dick. Like, just a dick.
Wouldn't it be some? Wait, and we can't hear them at all. So if there was something that we could do that would allow us to hear them, can I just?
Well,
I
the
guess-
Countess gave us these invitations, so maybe she could tell us what's going to go on with them.
I feel like wherever someone is, they're in the Twilight Zone. They're both kind of in a mirror
It's
dimension, but also
A mansion on a
very
lake,
fuzzy. So
like any other lake.
I don't have any.
Not really.
I don't have any special abilities to really help here. So
Okay.
if anyone does, all ears.
Well, I think maybe we should ask the Countess then.
Let's do it.
It's on days like this that I really miss having a necromancer around.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a necromancer.
Maybe
a
we
good
still do.
one. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe we still do. We just can't
We've
see
met
or
so
hear them.
many. None of them stick around.
So am I right in assuming that you all walk across and
Mhm.
perfect. So you make it to the slick stones of the island in the center of the lake. The front doors to the manor are a stone's throw away, lit on either side by guttering torches that cast a pitiful amount of light. As you approach, the doors creak open slowly. Within, the manor is completely dark.
Does Ironjaw still have that lantern going?
Yep. So
Does
I have a hooded lantern out, so it's actually just kind of shining a beam of light.
Oh, like a flashlight.
It's a thief lantern.
Does that light impact this, or is it still dark?
No, it illuminates as you would expect the interior of the manor, which appears to be empty, except for the occasional piece of fine furniture in the foyer, a grand staircase leading up to the second floor. Portraits line all of the walls. Occasionally there's a suit of armor decorating various places between the portraits, and then vases with flowers in them.
Possibly paranoid, but are the portraits of living people or skeletons?
It's difficult to say from outside the manor.
Can I try and open the front door?
They
doors creaked
opened. Yeah.
Oh, they opened. Oh,
On their own.
gotcha.
Like, sorry, they didn't open just a crack. Like, they creaked open fully.
Okay.
I guess I'll yell in before going in. Countess, we've arrived to be relieved of our grief.
and to get the reward for safely guarding the caravan.
And maybe Oliver as well.
In that
Hello.
order.
In that order.
In order of importance. As you call it, there are candelabras on credenzas that line the walls, and they start igniting one by one.
Oh.
In a certain direction. So there are multiple candelabras on all the credenzas and things, but they're only the only ones that line up are sequentially in one direction, let's say to the right.
Okay.
They're carefully curated to create a corridor.
Clever.
Jeez.
Beautifully put. Artfully articulated.
All right, I follow the
yeah,
lights.
I'll follow.
Okay, I'm gonna go behind Peter.
I'll go behind Minos.
So everyone enters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you head into the manor, the shivers run up your spine or robot equivalent thereof, and the hairs or circuits on your arms and back of your neck rise. But you continue on unimpeded. If you follow the line of the candelabras, you're led to shut doors. And as you approach, once again, they open, slowly creaking open until they are full, revealing an opulent drawing room with a roaring fire and a luxurious, if outdated, furniture, such like pillowed chairs and divans scattered throughout. There are several curtained alcoves to the right of the room, offering a veneer of privacy for, one would assume, more intimate conversations that you didn't want the rest of the drawing room to overhear. Sitting in a lavishly appointed seat by the windows is a slender, veiled woman dressed in layers of sheer lace. Seeing you, she rises. You have come at last. I trust the journey was not too perilous.
I drop the sack that contains Oliver's pieces and say, I brought Oliver. Right in front of her feet, I guess.
Okay, so you just like fully walk in.
I plop it down right in front of her. Well, hello, Countess. I brought Oliver.
You have brought something that was Oliver. She makes a gesture with one hand, and the package that you've brought is picked up and carried out of the room.
Just leaves us?
Sorry?
Just leaves?
The package.
Oh, no, she just makes a gesture and it's gone. Okay.
Sorry, and yes, invisibly or whatever it lifts,
Gotcha.
and it's carried out. You'll also notice that a mop animates itself and is cleaning up with a smear that the
bag left. Mm.
B will prestidigitate to try and help, but also ask this invitation that you provided to us, is it meant to change?
Change how?
The message communicates. It's not a very chatty thing, but
does it really? Show me.
She will walk over and she'll say someone, or she'll write something down before she shows it, and she'd be like, "Can you hear me now?" So I'll write, "Can you hear me now?" And then we'll just kind of show it. We won't hand it over, but we'll just show the letter.
Mm-hmm. And what am I expecting to see?
Just wait.
Well, I am.
It has changed multiple times before. It's something, I think it's someone that is kind of fading from this world, but also we can't hear.
Oh, someone has been up to some tricks more powerful than I realized. Excellent. That means it will almost certainly succeed. Shall I call for refreshments, or would you prefer to move on to our pressing business at hand?
I could use some refreshments. Yeah.
I'm watered out.
I'm not in a rush.
I've got my juice boxes. I'm okay, thank you. But I appreciate your hospitality and answers.
She gestures again and looks at Beatrice and says, "If you wouldn't mind waiting, something should happen shortly."
I do.
Eventually, a silver serving tray is brought in. The first one has glasses filled with an amber liquid, kind of like champagne flutes, crystal champagne flutes. And then this second tray is brought in with various confections on it, little cakes and things that you might expect with a tea.
I grab a flute and I'm going to sniff it. Is this a wine or like grape, perhaps?
It's a nectar produced in the valley.
Oh, okay. Minos is going to drink it.
It is somehow both sweet and very, very warming. Despite
it's very
it's
sweet.
not viscous. It's almost like honey sweet, but without honey thickness. And it also gives you a warmth in the center of your chest that slowly spreads out to all of your limbs.
Oh, that's very nice. It's a very nice drink.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, because I just told you. No.
When Bee's in there nice and close with the letter, can she do a perception check just to further our investigation, maybe to look at the person? Because we can't really see her face or anything, can we? She's still hooded.
She wears a veil, but she'll be, I think, less obscured now. Let me see if I can find what I want you guys to sort of encounter of her. Whoop.
Too unveiled.
Better not send that picture. Just on Instagram.
Woman removing veils.
Oh, she's cool looking.
So this time the veil doesn't conceal her whole face, just her eyes. She's not actually purple, so forget the purple hue, but
it's the lights. It's the lights in here.
Lighting. It's nothing for anyone.
So I'm not eating or drinking. I'm gonna look around the room, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna kind of surreptitiously pull out my letter, because I'm curious to see if I've got any different messages based on what Beatrice has been doing, or if it's the same like original one about fading.
I wondered the same thing, actually.
All of the messages are current to what Beatrice has just relayed to you.
Right.
Does
So
that-
I am now seeing like the only thing I see is the last
That's
thing
correct.
that Beatrice said. Okay.
That's correct. Yep.
Then I'll just tuck it away.
Is there a response to?
No. I don't. Nope. There's not.
Maybe
you shouldn't have been so mean earlier.
we saw a rather interesting sight on the way in. I don't know if you have traveling bands of skeleton musicians or anything of the sort.
Zerovia is home to many unusual inhabitants. I trust you were not unduly waylaid by any of them.
Of course not.
We're good at our jobs. We defended the caravan with no difficulties.
Excellent. You were well chosen.
Can I do a perception check just to see if there's any pictures on the walls?
The walls are covered
Sure.
covered in pictures. Not like covered, but like
Obsessively so.
Yeah.
She's a serial killer.
wallpaper. In tasteful intervals, there are very. Oh God.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Okay, these kind of gifts I'm just gonna have to delete just in case we have
that's-
people
that's
with.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
So,
appropriate.
Tim, I'm looking specifically for one that would match her face to see if there was a gentleman partner that had a similar hat or missing limb.
The portraits I should say the paintings in the drawing room that you're in are chiefly paintings of landscape, and then a castle from a couple different points of view, and then a man sitting in a chair, almost like a throne, not like a Game of Thrones throne, but like an ornate chair.
Is he crossing his leg?
Does that matter?
That
Sure.
was a funny way of asking. Does he have one
Oh,
leg?
he does appear. It's funny, but it's funny you ask because he is. Like, how did you know that? Do you know who this is? Yes, he is. Crossing.
Okay, but he has both legs. Okay.
Okay, that's more.
Well,
okay.
according to the painting, the painting guy has both legs. Yes.
I was hoping you'd be able to tell me more about this potential being now that we've had refreshments.
Which of the beings would you like to know more about?
If you have any,
Our good friend Oliver.
yes, is it
Ah, yes.
possible that Oliver is trying to reach out to us?
Poor Oliver. Indeed, I didn't think he had it in him, but I guess I underestimated him. Well,
Where is he? Where's Oliver?
oh well, he's right here, of course. She rises and moves to one of the curtained alcoves, yanks back the curtain theatrically, and says, "Behold!"
Is there anything behind the curtain?
No, it's an empty, cushioned booth.
How is he here, or is he half here, kind of here?
What do you mean, is he half here? He's here.
In what way?
Can't see anything.
When you say that, she frowns and she looks inside the alcoves, and then she mutters an obscenity under her breath, moves to the next curtained alcove, gathers herself, and pulls back the curtain. Behold!
Whoa! Wow. I'm impressed.
Inside the alcove, you see a slab of dark stone, upon which lies a body you recognize. The body of Oliver.
Oh.
Completely
Alive or
flat.
dead? Sleeping? Dead? Alive? doing a jig?
It's lying on a stone slab.
Peter, come with me. Let's check him.
Do we want to? Sorry, I just looked at it 9:10.
That's a good reveal moment.
Yeah, I just want to end on Oliver, and then we'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to end before we had the potential to bring in poor patients.
Yeah, Frankie's part of the game.
Great playing, Frankie. You did a great job
dead.
tonight.
Yeah.
He has been participating this whole time in multiple ways. You have a lot to thank him for.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
did
some
you
people
help
out
me
of the
hide? Did you help me hide? Oh, I hope so.
Maybe.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Maybe.
Okay, I will come back. I just want to say goodbye to the YouTube viewers, and I'm going to move the screen over just so I know where to edit it. But don't go anywhere. I'll come right back to the scene in like just a second.
I'm gonna go somewhere.